Also tonight, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs accused of sex trafficking and sexual assault in a lawsuit filed in federal court here in New York.
New lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs, bringing some serious claims against the music mogul, brought by his former longtime girlfriend.
Diddy's problems aren't going away anytime soon, and if there was ever a chance for a soft landing, 50 Cent has made sure that option is off the table. 50 isn't holding back, recently resurfacing an exclusive video that many people had forgotten even existed, one that allegedly exposes how Diddy abused Cassie. But it's hard to fault 50 for pressing the issue. For years, Brother Love has been digging his own grave. The list of abuse allegations tied to his name is long enough to fill an entire spreadsheet, stretching from the White House all the way to Connecticut. In this video, we're breaking down everything, every claim.
Cassie.
What a beautiful dress.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask you, can't wait to see 3 a.m.
Yes.
The controversy.
Yeah.
How can we get a tape of this?
Oh, I'm going to send it to you. I will email it to you.
Email me the
Yes.
whole thing.
Yes,
I love
yes,
it. I love that you constantly
Thank you.
crushing the glass ceiling, or crushing the black ceiling.
If you know the context of this video, if you know what the 3 a.m. video is, and what
If you understand the context surrounding this video, especially what the so-called 3 a.m. video was, and what Diddy was allegedly promising to email Andre, it becomes clear that Cassie didn't just leave a relationship, she escaped a nightmare. This entire segment centers on the alleged videos and sex tapes Diddy was said to have circulated, with the 3 a.m. video appearing to be just another extension of that pattern. It's a shocking allegation, and it raises a critical question: what evidence actually exists? More importantly, what kind of proof could someone like 50 Cent have had evidence so damaging that it might have completely ended Diddy if Cassie had gone to trial? To answer that, we have to rewind the clock to the early 1990s, around 1991. And this part of the story isn't even about Cassie yet. To see the full picture, we need to examine a much earlier and deeply troubling chapter of Diddy's past. The woman at the center of that chapter was Joy Dickerson Neal. Her allegations date back to when she was a college student, and Diddy was working as a talent agent long before Bad Boy Records existed and before he had real industry power. She alleged that she went on a date with him, during which he spiked her drink. She realized something was wrong when he drove her to his music studio and she could barely walk. It was during this time, she said, that he assaulted her. What makes these claims even more disturbing is that they also involve video recordings. According to her allegations, Diddy not only assaulted her, he filmed it. She further claimed that he sent the footage to 2 of his friends. How did she learn this? She said Devontae Swing, a member of the R&B group Jodeci, told her directly. These claims are documented, and the individuals involved have never publicly walked back their statements. As for why she didn't report it to the police at the time, her explanation was simple: shame and fear of losing a record deal Diddy had promised her. Now follow that same pattern through the 1990s, from the creation of Bad Boy Records, through its rise and dominance, and eventually to Cassie. The alleged common thread is Diddy using promises of record deals as leverage to control artists, particularly women. That context helps explain why Cassie was signed to a 10-year album deal right from the start, something almost unheard of at the time. No disrespect intended, but she wasn't known as a strong vocalist, couldn't write, and while she could dance, it wasn't anything extraordinary. What mattered most to Diddy,
girl went through some tumultuous shit that she never thought that she would ever have to go through being in the music business. Do you understand that?
but it gets
out. He called Diddy and asked straight up, "You dealing with this girl like that? You really into her?" Diddy answered, "Yeah, that's my girl." So 50 said, "All right then, I'm gonna send you something, check it and call me back." After 50 sent the photos, Diddy called back, claiming his people had already gotten the images and that it was all just a misunderstanding. But 50 wasn't buying it. He already knew how Diddy moved and believed the images were being used as leverage over Cassie, another way to keep control and keep her locked in. That call marked the turning point. It was the moment 50 completely lost respect for Diddy. And while it didn't start there, the shopping incident was the first spark. This was when everything truly began to spiral.
Like, yo, she's like, yo, so yo, when we gonna get the chance to, to kick it, like we could just hang out. And he was like, yo, why don't we like go shopping? Shit, I mean, like I pay for it. And I was like, what the f this just said?
because you can bet.
If this had been Rick Ross, 50 wouldn't have cared at all. He'd already crossed that line before. But this time was different. 50 could see that the woman was in real danger. What Diddy had with Cassie wasn't just a fake relationship. It was toxic, controlling, and destructive. The images 50 sent to Diddy for confirmation were all the proof he needed, and looking back, the warning signs had always been there. Signs Diddy himself put out on Instagram for everyone to see, like that disturbing moment when Cassie appeared to be hiding under the sheets as if trying to get... You could say there's no hard proof of abuse here. But if you knew what Diddy did to the woman before Cassie, if you understood how he treated the mother of his children, and if you were aware of what Kim Porter endured, you wouldn't question the meaning of that Instagram video at all. You'd recognize it for what it was, a clear reflection of a deeply manipulative, calculated, and abusive pattern of behavior.
Diddy was the most manipulative, diabolical type of serial abuser. Kim Porter.
Hey, what's up, y'all? We interrupt your browsing for this emergency announcement. This is my girl, Kim, my lovely girlfriend, KP. Kim Porter.
Let me paint the picture for you. The year is 2005, and by this time, Diddy and Kim Porter had been for more than 10 years. Well, technically, they had been, like she said,
it's 2005, and Diddy and Kim Porter had been in an on and off relationship for over a decade. During one of those periods, Diddy caught wind of a rumor that Kim had been seeing a colleague of his in the industry. He lured her to Street Tropez, rented a yacht, and made it seem like they were going to have a fun getaway. But things quickly turned dark. Bodyguards later reported hearing intense arguments from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m., which ultimately escalated into a violent assault. Kim ended up with a broken nose, and Diddy flew in a specialist surgeon from Geneva to fix it and keep her out of the public eye until she healed. It gets even stranger. Try searching for this story today, and you'll find almost nothing. Articles like The Sun that once covered it have vanished, and images of Kim at the time showing her bandaged nose are nearly wiped from the internet. This surviving image is one of the few that remain. It seems Diddy went to extreme lengths to erase any digital trace because in 2005, this was a major scandal, and he knew it. And you don't have to take just my word for it. Gene Deal has spoken about it as well.
The newspaper, Gene Deal, also spoke on it.
Did you hear about the fact that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht?
Wow, I ain't hear about that.
He broke Kim, let's say allegedly, but it was told by people in her camp that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht.
The former
volatile relationship between Kim and Diddy saw her endure repeated abuse and watched her suffer at his hands. When asked by The Art of Dialogue whether Diddy had broken Kim's nose, this was his reply.
Because you knew Kim Porter. Is it true that Diddy broke her nose?
Bust the nose, man.
Many of the Diddy
Mark Curry, a former Bad Boy artist, confirmed the disturbing patterns in Diddy's relationships. Some apologists claim Mark only spoke out because of a fight over publishing rights, but anyone who worked with Diddy eventually ran into issues over publishing. This wasn't unique to him. If you've been following this story, a clear pattern emerges. Just like with Cassie, Diddy allegedly wiretapped Kim Porter's phone. Mark Curry explained that any man who goes out of his way to bug someone's phone or home to monitor their conversations is showing extreme control and obsession. It wasn't just Kim and Cassie. Misa Hilton, the mother of Diddy's oldest son, Justin, also faced violence at his hands. And it gets darker. Mark claimed that at some of Diddy's parties, female guests were given drinks allegedly laced with substances to make them slippery. If the music industry were a person, it would be Diddy. Just when you think the corruption can't go deeper, he finds a way to sink even lower. Gene Deal, when Kim Porter passed away, many who had followed her story immediately suspected Diddy might be involved. But the autopsy confirmed her death was due to pneumonia, and Diddy was not even near her when she was found. So why did so many people point the finger at him? Some believe it could be linked to the book Kim was allegedly working on at the time of her death.
Have something to do with the book that Kim Porter was allegedly writing at the time of her death.
It was alleged that she did have a book and that her book was about to come out. And she was talking about all the perils, everything that she went through in the music business and with Diddy.
This book was supposedly a thorough breakdown of her relationship with Diddy. It was going to be a tell-all book, the kind that would send the fear of the devil up.
By the middle of '96, tensions were rising. Pac was acting unpredictably, pressuring everyone on the label to take sides in the escalating beef. Snoop, just out of his legal battle and determined to avoid trouble, wasn't interested in diving headfirst into the conflict. The situation had already taken a turn for the worse after Pac was shot at Quad Studios in New York back in '94, and he begun pointing fingers at people who, in reality,
heard what the men
had nothing to do with
then
it.
You'd listen. The men.
He tried it on me, so I know it's true. I got a phone call in the middle of the night, about 2:30 in the morning. It was, my wife says, pick up the phone. It was an unknown number.
It was Diddy. The story that Columbus Short would tell here is eerily similar to the countless others that other men in the industry who have had the unfortunate fate of crossing paths with Diddy would also tell. The man swung both ways, one into the bedroom and the other way into the closet.
Hey man, we didn't see what the BET Awards, you know, what you doing? I'm in bed with my wife. He said, I'm at the Beverly Hills Hilton, the Beverly Hills Hotel. I said, what's up? I said, who over there? He said, just me.
Diddy was sure trying to stomp his yard. And while Short was smart enough to not bite the bait, not many artists have been lucky. I have already dropped a couple of alleged names, but there's more. There's enough evidence to suggest he was doing something similar with Ja Rule. Why else do you think 50 Cent?
It was Diddy. The story Columbus Short shared is eerily similar to countless others from men in the industry who had the misfortune of crossing paths with him. According to them, Diddy swung both ways, one way in the bedroom and the other way into the closet.
Didn't even know at that time that there was a sex experiment going on behind those closed doors. It was until someone knocked on the front door.
Next thing you know, somebody rang the doorbell. We had the presidential suite where we was at. So I opened the door and the dude said, yo, I'm here for my cousin. I said, who your cousin? And he said, Ja Rule.
Gene Deal went into defensive mode almost.
Puff and Ja Rule runs out the room. Puff got his towel, Ja grabbing his towel, but they butt the naked.
Both men were terrified, but both men were obviously naked. Were they on a devil's threesome, or was the devil right there with them in the room? We can't know for sure, but Ja Rule would give Gene a clue when he found out why his cousin was pinned down on a piano by Diddy's bodyguard.
Yo, Ja said, you ain't want to go in that room, because there's a lot of freaking going on.
Notice I ain't even talk about 50 Cent.
Diddy was definitely trying to assert his power, and while Columbus Short was smart enough not to fall for it, not many artists have been so lucky. I've already mentioned a few alleged names, but there's more. There's enough evidence to suggest he was doing something similar with Ja Rule. Why else do you think 50 Cent hates him so much? The incident in question allegedly involved butt plugs, a female rapper Ja Rule and Diddy in a hotel's presidential suite somewhere in Atlanta. Gene Deal Diddy was definitely trying to assert his power, and while Columbus Short was smart enough not to fall for it, not many artists have been so lucky. I've already mentioned a few alleged names, but there's more. There's enough evidence to suggest he was doing something similar with Ja Rule. Why else do you think 50 Cent hates him so much? The incident in question allegedly involved butt plugs, a female rapper Ja Rule and Diddy in a hotel's presidential suite somewhere in Atlanta. Gene Deal was reportedly standing guard at the door while whatever was happening went on behind closed doors. The crazy part, Diddy didn't even know someone knocked on the front door, interrupting whatever experiment was taking place.
West Coast, East Coast beef. And even today, homophobia is normalized in hip-hop. Even supposedly liberal, forward-thinking rappers like J. Cole still use homophobic slurs once in a while. So even if Diddy wanted to come out of his closet, and even if he had the support of his white daddies on Wall Street, he'd still be dead in the streets. No one would take him serious, and his businesses would eventually decline. Why else do you think Tyler Perry is always denying them allegations? Let's get back to the Wendy situation. Because when Diddy got wind of what she was planning, he got her fired.
Puff got one of the hottest DJs off of Hot 97 because she wanted to put up a picture of him getting his pants pulled down.
Now, Diddy and Wendy might have since reconciled, but that don't change nothing because she hasn't gone back on her word. Meanwhile, 50 still calls him gay every other Tuesday. And perhaps the most damning evidence against him is his own. Because you might not know this, but people believe Diddy has been dropping some hints about his sexuality in songs. His verse in the song Hope by Blood Orange is weird, but the video is even wilder because in it, two men are seen embracing while Diddy raps the lyrics. Sometimes I ask myself, like, you know, what is it going to take for me not to be afraid to be loved the way like I really want to be loved, but that I know how I really want to be loved, but I'm like scared to really feel that. You know, it's like you want something, but you don't know if you can handle it. Maybe one day I'll get over my fears and I'll receive. It doesn't get more on the nose than that. But perhaps the wildest point most people have against the man is this: despite all the accusations and claims, there isn't one video anywhere where Diddy outrightly denies being gay.